Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward, the podcast that reveals how to plan, achieve, and enjoy the journey of creating epic results in your life, business, health, and relationships. Here's your host, best-selling author and motivational speaker, Xander Sprague.
Hello, epic people, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I'm your host, Xander Sprague, and today I am joined by my friend, Jill Lublin. Jill, tell us who you are and what you do.
Oh, so good to be here with you and all of your listeners and viewers. So I am a publicity expert. I've actually I've been called the media magnet, and I have 4 best-selling books, including the PR Bible called Guerrilla Publicity, and my newest book, The Profit of Kindness. To that end, I run media mastery intensives as well as conscious kindness circles, which are great for networking and connecting in kindness.
Absolutely. Now, I've known Jill for, many years is the way I'll put it. That way I'm not dating either one of us. And
Oh, good.
and I do have to say, Jill, that your guerrilla marketing are things that I still use today.
Guerrilla publicity, yes.
Yeah, publicity. And some of the things that I've done that you suggested in your fabulous book is I have a license plate holder that's got my website and a phone number and stuff because, there's a passive audience sitting behind you. You never know who's going to want your services.
That's right. It's all publicity, Xander, isn't it? I mean, that's really what I want people to understand, is that everything is publicity. So if you do it the guerrilla publicity way, which is what he's referring to as my book, guess what? Exactly what you're doing with your license plates, putting signage in different places so that people see you and become more visible. This is really what it's all about, is becoming more visible.
Absolutely. And doing things like, we probably won't be able to see it, but I have pens made up, and I will sometimes hand out my pen, or I'll just leave my pen somewhere, and then someone picks it up, and now they've got contact info. Now they're curious. They want to find out.
That's right. I love that.
So, Jill, how did you get into being a media magnet?
So, it's one of these circuitous I found my path and my path found me kinds of stories. I actually started in the music business, which I loved, and discovered my talent, which is promotion and publicity, and started promoting and publicizing independent record labels and their artists. That led to a larger audience, so that, frankly, now I serve coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, as well as independent service providers. Could be real estate people, chiropractors, and people in the transformational area too. So it's widened, which is lovely, but I really learned my chops, using a music business term, in the music business. And because if you really think about that, it's all about perception, right? And musicians rely a lot on that. And then we found really innovative guerrilla publicity tips and tricks to get our artists known. And that's really where I got my public relations skills really honed, was in the music business.
Absolutely. And I know that you've helped thousands of speakers. I mean, being a professional speaker myself, I know over the years, I've gotten really great tips from you, which have been really helpful.
Thank you.
I probably need to employ a few more of the ones that I already know, but it's all good. And, when I think of like, how would I do it? I honestly sometimes like, what would Jill say?
I love that. I love that.
And so tell us a little about this epic journey that you've been on of promotion. Like, people who think, oh, well, how do I do it? Can you just share a few tips of what people can do to kind of get some notice, because it's hard.
Absolutely, and it's not hard. It's actually easy. So I want to give you some easy tips to get started on your epic PR journey, and to have an epic PR journey. And the truth is, it starts one baby step at a time. So you start where you start. Because here's the first tip about publicity. It's a gardening process. You have to plant seeds, grow your message. So I'm big on systems in publicity. Everything I do, we do have publicity systems. Every 30 days, look at your message. Is it consistent and congruent with who you are? Is it simple and articulate and actually a problem solver in the marketplace today? Not just like, here's what I do, here's what I do.
Yeah.
Are you giving people value and benefit? And so that's a real key, and it's important, right? About putting yourselves out there and in ways that are simple and easy, and importantly, easy for others to understand. Ooh, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I find, Sandra, people talk too over the head a lot of times, or you're using jargon. I had to ask a woman what she meant by, she used a jargon term the other day, one of my clients. I'm like, don't be doing that. Let's talk simple 5-year-old language. So that's an important tip that will be key for all of you. And speaking of you, I want you to start speaking in you language. That's another very important tip. Like, really give the listener, your prospect, your media listener, give them something that's a you statement. So here's what you can do, right? To notice I'm doing this the whole time, that I'm helping you with some great and easy publicity tips. I'm speaking in simple terms and giving you things to do. So that helps your media audience feel closer to you. It also helps your prospects and clients feel closer to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And those are excellent. One of the things that I talk about in my book is this concept of not yet. There are the things that we think of doing in our life, but it's not yet. It takes time. Now, with publicity, certainly my experience has been that it's somewhat of a keep trying, keep plugging away, and there's some have I gotten that interview I wanted? Not yet. But for you, Jill, and where you are right now? What's one or two of your not yets, things that you want to accomplish but you haven't done quite yet?
Oh, thank you. So one of the things with my book, The Profit of Kindness, what I'd like to accomplish is I do have these kindness circles. They're completely free to attend. And I want a sponsor, a major sponsor, to come in and support that, because then what that allows me to do is, frankly, market even wider and do kindness circles all around the world, which is one of my intentions. And everything's on Zoom, and everything's easy. So that's part of my epic journey and my legacy, and super excited about that. I have been on Tony Robbins' stage and speaking about guerrilla publicity.
Yeah.
Yes, and I want to do that again. Time to
Yeah.
come on again.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
must have
another
been great.
Oh, it was phenomenal experience. Great audience, you can imagine, right?
Yeah.
And just a terrific opportunity. So I was very grateful.
Oh, that's awesome. That too is one of my not yets. Get on to Tony's stage, So
Well, I have actually been there once, so my not yet is go twice.
absolutely. Well, yours is go again. Absolutely.
Go again, yes.
Absolutely. Um, one of the things that we all face as entrepreneurs and stuff is, well, things that fail, right? No one wants to fail, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So when it comes to publicity and stuff, we can try, we try stuff, but you find out that it's not quite the right message, or it didn't go over the way I wanted. What advice do you have for like taking those failures and then learning from them and making, like sort of flipping it around so that it is going to work?
So part of this is just seeing what works best, right? I mean, I have had flops like all of us, programs I put out that didn't work so well. What I find is like right now I do a media mastery intensive. It's get her done PR and get him done, just really make things happen quickly. So one of it is finding what people really wanted. So now I have media there, actual media that people can pitch. Wow, that they love that opportunity. I've put in panels of experts so that they can hear from other people, right? And to just really focus on what is the connection to your work, right? And what do people really need versus honestly what we often do, and me included, is like, okay, this is what I know to do. And so I'll go do it. But really the question, and especially in today's marketplace, is what do people really need? So that's what you got to talk to. Like for me, it's really about how do people become thought leaders in your field right now? How do you increase your visibility without spending a fortune? What do you do for guerrilla publicity tactics that are simple? And then bring it to my media mastery intensive and let's get this done. Let's get your message and your bio and your pitch so that you can actually talk to media. People love this. I'm finding, I think in today's world, it's like, let's get down and get it done. And that really helps.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that's sort of, and it's not new, but it's certainly new for people who've been entrepreneurs for many years is how to utilize social media appropriately. I mean, there's so many different channels that we're supposed to be on and get your message out on, and between Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, all of that. And I know I'm on all of those platforms, but I'm not, like what works for Instagram is not what works for Facebook or X or whatever. Do you train people about like utilizing social media? Because that does seem to be the way that a big way that we have to communicate nowadays.
Well, it is a big way to communicate. And the message piece of my publicity focus is really good for social media, but please don't. I'm just going to say to all of you, please don't rely on social media as your publicity strategy. It is not. It is a focused connection with the power of who you are. And it's a way for people to relate to you, yes, but publicity is a longer term strategy that is a gift that keeps on giving, is a way to reach a lot of people at one time, and not a one hit wonder, but really a continuous ongoing visibility strategy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there are people that, on my business, Instagram or personal, and the people who are doing something when they're posting consistently, I know I'm seeing it and then I go, oh yeah, that's what Jill is doing, right? You don't just one off doesn't necessarily do it.
Right, exactly.
Now here's another question people may have had, which is when do you determine when to bring in a PR firm? Because PR firms are fabulous. They do great job, but they're really expensive, and sometimes the
Yeah.
ROI is not quite what one would hope when you've invested that amount of money. So there's obviously a time to say now I need to bring in a PR firm.
Well, listen, Sander, I owned a PR agency, and back 10 years ago, my fee was $5,000 a month. I'm just going to tell you
Yeah,
straight. Now, what I figured out is giving people the right way to get your publicity done without running around in circles and trying to figure it out. And it's great for entrepreneurs. If you want to spend between 5 to 8,000 to 10,000 a month, bringing in a PR agency might be a great thing when you have a very particular launch, when you're ready to frankly budget that kind of money. But I have cracked the code on taking what PR agencies do, making it simple and affordable and getting things done in quick, easy ways. So it's made a huge difference for my clients. And let me just tell you, I went from PR firm to letting people get their publicity done in more of a do-it-yourself kind of way, but with really the tactics that the big PR agencies employ.
definitely.
So instead of wishing and hoping that you'll get your investment back, it's a lot easier. Let me just put it that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Jill, I know your time is really valuable, and I know that we don't have a lot of time. So I just wanted to ask you, how can people get a hold of you? Where can they find your stuff? Where can they sign up for all of the great material that you have?
Oh, thank you so much. So definitely what I've created for you is a wonderful, let's call it a double bonus gift, because you get a free action guide, which is filled with more great solid publicity tips that'll get you the visibility you desire and deserve. And secondly, a live interactive masterclass with me. It's a publicity masterclass, which gets your questions answered. So it is a double gift for you, and you can get it at publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. And hopefully that'll be in the show notes too. It's publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. And then come on and let's talk about your publicity needs live and interactive with me on Zoom.
Wow. That you're giving so much. That is awesome, Jill. And yes, I will make sure to have that in the show notes. Well, Jill, thank you so much for all of your wisdom today. It truly has been epic. I want to remind everyone that if you are ready to begin your epic journey, go to epicbegins.com. And if you go there right now, you can get a free e-copy of my book, Epic Begins with One Step Forward: How to Plan, Achieve, and Enjoy the Journey. As always, I want to remind you that epic choices lead to the epic life that you want.
Get your gift copy of the award-winning book, Epic Begins with One Step Forward, at epicbegins.com. That's a wrap on this episode of Epic Begins with One Step Forward with your host, Xander Sprague, best-selling author, internationally acclaimed public speaker, and licensed professional clinical counselor. To make your next conference or event epic, send an email to Xander at zander@epicbegins.com. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Remember, epic choices, epic life.